James Turner for the untouchable true school sports. Let's go, baby. Bow!
Be careful what you wish for because it can become a reality.
Yeah. The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. All right, so I wanted to come on here and give some quick thoughts on Jesus Ramos. You know, he's a fighter that I have a lot of respect for, and I want to talk about him more because he represents a lot of good things about boxing. You know, I like fighters like him. So he had his fight against Jason Rosario, or what's left with Jason Rosario. You know, we all know, and I know better than most on earth, that Jason Rosario has been a shot fighter for a long time. But, you know, Jason Rosario was coming off of a fight against Jarrett Hurd in 2024 where he got a draw. And he showed a little bit of life in that fight. So he's got this new lease on life in boxing. And, you know, this is a tough fight for Jason Rosario. And pretty much Ramos did what I thought he would do. He beat the brakes off of a faded version of Jason Rosario. He comes the fifth or sixth guy to stop him. So he did what he was supposed to do, and I give him his credit for that. It's kind of sad what's happened to Rosario because, you know, he upset Julian Williams, 5 years ago now, and he's never really been able to recapture the form for that night. He was a one-hit wonder, to be honest with you, and it is what it is. You know, it's how boxing goes sometimes. So if that's it for him, which it should be. You know, congrats on overachieving in your career, and I enjoyed covering him when he was at his peak, you know. But you know, it's time to hang it up. So that being said, as far as Jesus Ramos, I feel like he deserves a big fight because he only has one loss on his record, and I don't even think he really lost that fight. I thought he beat Eric Lubin, right? Shout out to Ramos, and I'll him and Lubin can run it back one day. He can't fight Lubin right now because Lubin is supposedly going to fight Adriel Holmes, who their fight's going to purse bid, or I think it went to purse bid. I think Pro Box might have won the purse bid already. So, you know, he's preoccupied fighting a high risk, low reward fighter with Adriel Holmes. He's trying to become a world champion, right? And fulfill some of his potential in boxing because he was a big signing. But when I look at the fights that I think make the most sense for Jesus Ramos, there's one matchup for him that I think stands far and above the rest. And that matchup for Ramos is a fight with Sebastian Fundora, the unified champion. And the reason why I think this fight makes sense, it makes sense for both fighters because when you look at Fundora was supposed to fight Spence. Spence has shown that he's not eager to come back to the ring, and he said he's going to come back when he's good and ready. And it's already been well over a year and a half now since he's fought against Crawford. He's pretty much done. I don't think he'll ever really be much of anything in boxing again, if I'm being honest with you. I think he's lost his love for the game. He's secure in what he's accomplished, and that's okay. You know, he got what he needed out of boxing. You don't need to stay around longer if you don't want to. I don't think he really wants to do this no more. So that fight's not happening. He's not going to fight Terrence Crawford because Terrence Crawford's trying to cash out with Canelo and be in a big fight there. And then, like pretty much everybody else in this weight class, he doesn't really seem, or maybe not him, but nobody, his handlers like Samson, they don't seem too eager to take the Bakram Murtazaliev test. You know, Bakram has a belt, and he still can't get guys to fight him because they just don't see enough value in that fight to fight Bakram, right? And that's why Bakram is talking about going to 160 to challenge Lara because he can't even get fights to 54, even with him being a champion, because people saw what he did to Tim Tszyu, and they're not really eager to do that fight unless the money is 100,000% right, because he's a high risk. He's a high risk, high reward fighter, in my opinion, not low reward, because he has a world title. Once you get a world title, you now have something to offer. That's a reward, right? But they still don't want to fight Bakram, right? So I look at Ramos, who's a top contender, one of the top fighters in this weight class that doesn't have a title. You know, Ramos is ranked top 10 in both sanctioning bodies by that Fundora has the belts for right now. And I just think that would be an amazing fight. I think their styles would mesh very well. I can already envision it. I can see it. You know, Fundora versus Ramos at the StubHub Center in California. I think it winds up being one of those classic fights. You know, that venue, for whatever the case may be, they call it the War Grounds. It produces a lot of great fights. Like, it's produced Provodnikov versus Bradley. It's produced John Molina versus Lucas Matisse. It's produced you know, Takashi Miura versus Orlando Salido. Just so many amazing fights. And I think that kind of fight has the potential to be on that caliber of a fight. You know, you look at Fundora, 6'7", volume puncher, doesn't fight long, has questionable defense. He loves to go to war. Has thick bone density. Can really lump you up with his punches when he lands. That's on one side of the equation. On the other side, you got Mono, Jesus Mono Ramos, a fighter who is very workmanlike, but does have power, can box, is rangy for his size, high volume fighter. I don't see a world where Fundora and Ramos isn't a barn burner type of a fight, and I don't see why it can't happen. I believe Ramos is ranked he's number 6. Yeah, he's number 6 in the WBC, and he's like number 10 in the WBO, the two titles Sebastian Fundora has. So I just feel like, you know what? Politically speaking, the fight is very doable. Commercially, the fight could do well if done at the right venue. And from a style standpoint, the fight's a dynamite fight. So there's no reason there shouldn't be Jesus Ramos versus Fundora. Fundora can't get the champions. Yeah, like it just makes sense. So this is the fight I'm campaigning for. Jesus Ramos, Sebastian Fundora. I look at it as one of the fights to make it 154. Jesus Ramos has been one of these guys that quietly has just been doing the right things all these years, fighting good, steady competition, winning, looking good. And I believe that should be rewarded in boxing. When you see fighters like Jesus Ramos that, you know, go about their business in a very respectful manner and are fighting good competition and are pretty consistent throughout their performances, that should be rewarded. And I think it should be rewarded in this case with the shot to become a world champion against Sebastian Fundora. So that's my opinion. Congrats to him on a good performance against Rosario, but he was supposed to do that. Let's get Ramos on a real, significant fight, a legacy type of fight for his career, and see what he does on a big stage against a guy like Fundora. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. What do you think about that fight, Jesus Ramos versus Fundora, Fundora versus Ramos? I think it should be somewhere like the StubHub Center. What do you guys think? Leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me. But I'm just a kid from Dane. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For more great boxing content just like this, make sure you guys click right over here. Keep watching my boy BT put on the best interviews out here.